Hello, 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 everyone. Good morning, good morning. How is everyone doing today? Jason and I were running a little bit late this morning, so I apologize. In fact, I was just telling him, it is Friday, right? Like, it doesn't feel like a Friday to me, but it is Friday. I just checked. It is Friday. January 16th. Welcome to Feature Friday. I'm glad you're here. I appreciate that you are here. And if you're watching the replay, or if you're watching us over on YouTube, thank you. I so appreciate the fact that you are here with us, watching me talk about yarn, watching me talk about things that I love. I'm so grateful that people want to hear what I have to say. So good morning. Roberta, you're the first comment. Hello, hello. Tall Jan, hello. Kara says she's getting lovely lake effect. We are getting snow right now too. Big, fat, beautiful snowflakes. Good morning, Jamie. Kathy, good morning. Hi, Karen. And Gail. Good morning, good morning. So I just want to take a minute and point out that my fingernails, I just redid them last night, and they are color changing. So as the video goes by, I'm interested to see, as I warm up, if my fingernails change color. So right now, they're a pretty pink, all one color, pretty pink. So they're supposed to be color changing. So just want to point that out. So as the video goes, if I warm up, we shall see if they change colors. Good morning, Cindy. Hello, Teresa and Barbara. Deborah, Sunny. Good morning, good morning. Hi, Kathy. Asking how your puppy is. Well, my puppy is wonderful. He is hanging out right down here by my feet. And as I'm sure you just heard, he was still shaking his head. But he's okay. He's doing good. We got a little cleaner thing for his ears, and he's good. He's good. Good morning, Maggie. Good morning, Celeste. Hello, Beth. I have so much to go through today. So much to go through. So if you saw the title of our video today, it is that gadgets and notions do not count. And I'm not even going to say kits. I'm even going to say kits. They don't count in a yarn diet. Because a lot of times, you know, January, we put ourselves on some, we tend to make grand declarations, right? We tend to make grand declarations. Good morning, Michelle. And one of those can often be that we're going to use yarn from our stash, or we're going to go on what we call a yarn diet. So we're not going to buy yarn, at least for a little while. And I get that. I do. Trust me, I do. I get that. I'm a knitter also, first and foremost. I understand the urge to sometimes step back a little bit and work through my stash or plan projects through my stash. I absolutely get that. But here's the good news. Today, I'm going to show you a bunch of things that don't count in a yarn diet, because gadgets and notions don't count, because obviously it's not yarn. And a kit does not count either, because it's you already know what you're going to do with it. It's a kit. Everything you need is right there. And so it's not just adding to your stash with no plan. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But, you know, if one of your resolutions is a little bit of a yarn diet to start the year off, then I totally get it. And I'm just giving you that, you know, a kit doesn't necessarily count because it has a plan. So we've got notions and goodies from Twice Sheared Sheep. We have some kits from Kelborn Woolens. And we have a new book that I'm thrilled about, and I can't wait to actually take it some time this weekend and actually sit down and read it. I just flipped through it when we first got it, but I haven't had a chance to really delve into it. We talked about that. I'm going to show you what Gnome River has been up to, because of course I'm still going to tempt you to buy yarn. That's my job. So I'm still going to tempt you to buy yarn. So maybe if you are on a yarn diet, I shouldn't even say that out loud. If you're on a yarn diet, maybe you should be watching, but I was just kidding. Don't turn off the video. Don't turn that off. I do know another thing. Jason, if you can grab for me, because I'm going to show off what's on my needles this week. Right here in the Coma yarn, the scarf and hat that is hanging right there. Not hat, scarf and yarn. Yeah, that's still on needles. That's hanging out there too. Good morning, Linda. Let's see. Jean is saying, is it like new underwear doesn't count as clothing? Yes. New underwear and socks for sure do not count as new clothing. That those are necessities. You have to have those. So absolutely does not count as buying new clothes. Absolutely. Yeah, for sure it's like that. Yeah. Good morning, Melinda. Good morning, Linda. So we're going to jump in. We're going to get started right off the bat. And I'm going to show you, this is my first sock of the year. This is my January adventure sock. This is for Miss Natalie Jewell. She has a heel now, a heel flap and a heel turn, and I am now starting our gusset decreases. I will tell you, Natalie will be 12 in less than a month, and she has the same size feet as I do. So you would think that knitting socks for my children might be cheating a little bit because they're supposed to maybe be smaller. They're not. So this is sock number 1 for Miss Nat. And I'm halfway through, and we're halfway through the month, so I feel like I'm right on track for where I need to be for that. So again, that's sock number 1. Reminder, my goal for the year is 1 sock a month. So I feel like I'm right on track with that. I'm not worried about getting my first sock done. Good morning, Dana. Hello, Oriana. Good morning, Beth. Thank you, Beth. I actually, it's not often that yarn catches me by surprise anymore. Like, I can usually do a fairly good job when I see a ball of yarn. I can usually do a fairly good job at predicting what it's going to look like. But I gotta tell you, this particular one, it is from Laying Socks. I don't have this color anymore, so don't love it. But I do have another version of it that's a little bit lighter color. So anyway, I even looked at the picture. That's on the label, and I'm still surprised by the colors that are in the sock. I think because I was so distracted by the neon stripes that are in this, that I didn't really look closely at the colors between. So when I started knitting the sock and I got into this section right here, I was like, I don't like this. These colors are not what I was expecting this to be at all. I thought it was all like dark gray between the neon colors. So yeah, it's just kind of funny. I was totally shocked as I was knitting this sock at what was coming out on my needles. So luckily Natalie loves them, and that's all that matters, is that she loves them. It is interesting to knit because you want to keep getting to the next neon section. But yeah, I was like shocked at what was coming out of the sock ball, the ball of yarn, and I was shocked that I was shocked that it was surprising me. So yes, let's see. Cindy says you have to have accessories and gadgets to complete your projects, so the right tools make the job easier. Most definitely. I mean, you're preaching to the choir here, Cindy, for sure. And that's true, I think, for most of our watchers. Okay, so that's been on my needle. I've been working on that sock. I shared this project with you last week. This is the literally scarf. This is a new cast on that I could not resist. I could not resist this yarn when it came in. I promptly spent some time on Ravelry, and I found this pattern. It is called Literally, just literally, from Martina Behm, and it started down here in the corner. And as you can see, it's kind of knit on the bias, but you're creating this chevron crazy look at the same time. It is fascinating, absolutely fascinating. But I had a goal when I cast this on. I needed to get through 1 repeat, so that I could figure out in my brain how this was working, and B, so that I could put this on the shelf and you guys could see what this was knitting up like. Yes, Dana, this is the new Noro. This is coma. Yeah, like going to sleep and not waking up. Coma. Not como. It is coma. This is color number. I didn't write it down on my tag. Oh my goodness. I think it's color number 2. I think that it is color number 2. And you'll notice that I have a tag on here. I have a bag tag on here that Jason made me. And it says waiting for February. because now that I have cast it on and I've figured out how it works and I've got a chunk, a bite of it done, we'll say, I needed to focus on other things, focus back on other things. So I got through one repeat, figured it out, and now it's gonna sit on the shelf until February. Because if you've been around for a while, you know that we celebrate Finish Object February by playing bingo. So I do a pretty good job usually of finishing my projects. So I really don't have a ton of whips this year to work through for February. So I've had to, I don't want to say manufacture whips to finish in February, but that is what I'm doing. So I can't work on this anymore until I get some other my other projects closer to getting finished, but not finishing them until February. If you know, you know. Let's see, Kathy says, our tools for knitting equal our husband's 900 socket sets. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. How many screwdrivers that look exactly the same to me does one need? I absolutely agree, Kathy. Thank you, Jana. I think if you've never knit anything from Martina Behm, she is a mathematical genius that has a very thorough understanding of knit fabric and how to manipulate it to create really cool geometric shapes. So if you haven't knit anything from her, you should check out all of her designs because they're fascinating. But this one especially is, again, called Literally. And I'm going to use one ball of the new Noro that, yes, Jana, feels very lovely to touch, and it is really quite luxurious. How about that? Smarty pants. Look at that. Jason coming in with dropping some links for us. Good job. All right, so that hasn't really been on my needles this week, but I wanted to show it to you again. Here is the cool thing that I'm excited to show off. The knitting is finished on my Night and Day Cowl, and it just looks like a blob. It just looks like a knitted, really oddly shaped knitted blob. So I can't even remember. Hold on, I'll figure it out. There's an edge. There's an edge. Does it go that way? There. Okay, it goes this way. So I will seam together these two parts here. These two parts will get seamed here, and then it will be a cowl with a point, bandana cowl with a point in front, but until I actually do that, it just looks like a crazy blob of really beautiful stripes and very lovely feeling yarn. This is knit out of Cozy from Kelborn Woolens. But yeah, it just looks like a blob. So I will be blocking it before I sew it together, and then I will be sewing it together. But you know that can't happen until February. So I am up to the point where I am ready for it to hibernate just for a couple weeks so that I can get her back out again and hopefully get a couple of bingo squares with my Night and Day Cowl. So this is the last time you're going to see it until I bust it back out again in order to earn a couple of bingo squares. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Susan. So let's talk about it because I'm done with what's been on my needles. Let's talk about my sweater. This is, I think, the first time that I've actually taken it off the mannequin and worn it. So this is my Evina Cardi. Evina Cardi. So I'll give you a little spin here. And I don't know about you guys. I know Maggie and I have talked about this a lot. When I finish, especially a bit like a long-term project or a project that takes me many months or what feels like a long time to knit, when I'm done with it, even if I'm like objectively happy with it, it looks good, it fits decently, the yarn is beautiful, like objectively it is lovely, I still I'm not enamored with it anymore. And I wonder if it's because I am more I'm more into the process. I'm more of a process maker. I enjoy the making of it. I loved that I got to crochet these squares and I learned a new way to piece them together, and then I got to knit the sleeves and the body. So I wonder if that's part of it, is that I love the process, and then by the time I'm done with it, I'm really sick of looking at it. And I don't want to use it. So I'm lucky because I can just put it on a shelf and, you know, sell yarn just to make it. And then I will circle back and then I will love it again. So I have to give myself a little bit of distance, I think, sometimes from projects. And then I love them again and I will wear them. So I think that happened with my Evina. When I finished it, I was a little bit, the sizing wasn't what I hoped. I would have liked it to be a little bit looser. It ended up a little bit smaller than I was hoping for. But now I put it back on again, and I have, you know, just a small cami, you know, close fitting cami that I've layered underneath it, paired with a high waist pant, and I love it. I love it. So I figured out how to love it again. So yes, this is my Evina Cardi. It is knit out of cotton plus merino, and Jana, you are right on the ball because I am wearing it because I'm going to show you some new colors of cotton plus merino. Remember, I teased that I was going to still tempt you with yarn even if you are on a yarn diet, because that's my job. So yes, you will absolutely be seeing colors of cotton plus merino. Yes, so Jean, absolutely, I agree. Sometimes I just get tired of looking at it and need a break, or I need to start something new. And Dana agreed. I'm right there with you on enjoying the process. Yes. I'm glad to know that I'm not the only one that looks at something when I'm done, and I know that I should love it, I should be really proud of it, and I should want to use it, but I'm done. Like, I'm just done with it. So, again, I'm glad to know that there are some people that feel the same way. You're welcome, Jana. Okay. So that's what's on my needles. That's what I'm wearing. So let's get right into, let's see, what shall we start with? What shall we start with? Let's start with what we've been up to with Gnome River. So last week I shared with you that we found our replacement for brunette, which is a lovely dark chocolate, dark brown color. So we were able to dye that friend again. Oh, look it, guys. Remember I told you at the beginning that my fingernails are color changing? I'm starting to warm up. So they're starting to change into that pretty purpley blue color. It's crazy. I love it. I love it when the tips like change different colors. Okay. All right, so we're talking about brunette. What else did we do this week? Oh, amethyst. Amethyst is back in stock on all of our bases. So our dark purple is back in stock on Clever Gnome, Gnome's Feet, the mini skeins, both bases, the Gnomelets and the Gnomelets DK. So amethyst, back in stock on everything. So those are our tonals that we've dyed. And I showed you Bruised Heart. These are the only two skeins left of Bruised Heart right now, but I do plan to dye more Bruised Heart to have on the shelf. That is on this week's schedule for the plan. And I told you that I had dyed Yarnivore, which I did. So Yarnivore was the color for our Creature Comforts box for Small Business Saturday. So I originally dyed it on Clever Gnome, which is our DK weight base. And it was only included as part of the box, the Creature Comfort box. So I have dyed it now on both full-size skein bases. These two particular ones are Gnome's Feet. I don't have any more of the DK weight right now because, let's see, I think Jason literally put the skeins that I had of Clever Gnome
40 minutes.
out on the floor, and 40 minutes later, all of them were gone already. So I do have more dyed. It just needs to get rinsed and dried. So that may not be back out on the floor until next week. But anyway, that is Yarnivore, available on our Gnome's Feet base. And you can find this on our website. You would want to look under the Gnome River Special Edition. Gnome River Special Edition, and Jason just dropped the link in the comments here, and you will be able to find Bruised Heart there as well. So right now, Bruised Heart and Yarnivore are both available under Gnome River's Special Edition colors. So make sure you take a look out for those if you've been waiting for either of those colors. They are available. If you want more, if you want a sweater quantity of any of those, just reach out. I am happy to dye that for you. Thank you, Rebecca. I appreciate it. I also love the color, and so does everyone else. This color is impossible to get back in stock. Okay, the last thing that Gnome River, of course, has been up to this week is we have been dyeing more of our February color of the month. So this is Clever Gnome Somewhere Tropical. This is our February color called Somewhere Tropical. So think that beautiful turquoisey water with waves breaking over beautiful golden sand, and you can look out on the land and see beautiful green and highlights of tropical pink and orange flowers. That is the inspiration for Somewhere Tropical, because in February we all need to daydream about somewhere tropical if we can't actually manage to go somewhere tropical. Jamie, did you look under the special editions? Because you're looking for Yarnivore, right? Can you double check that Yarnivore is on Gnome's feet, not just Clever? All right, and Jason just dropped the link for that. All right, so you guys can still order this. I am in the process of dyeing this Somewhere Tropical right now. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Jana. All right, so that's what Gnome River has been up to. Let's talk about some kits that I got in. Good morning, Karen. Glad to see you here today. So these are kits from Kelborn Woolens. This year, they are celebrating a year of DK hats. So they started doing this, gosh, how long ago was that? When the original Germantown Worsted Weight first came out, they did a year of hats, and every month they had a special pattern designed just for Germantown, and they created these really cute little kits. Let's see, Kathy says, not so tropical here in Southwest Florida this morning, woke up to 40 degrees. Bummer. Let's see, Jamie said, yes, I looked at the link that Jason dropped. Okay, he's looking at it right now, Jamie. If not, we can always send you an invoice for one. If you want to send me a message, Jamie, send me a Facebook message. We'll get an invoice sent for you for however many skeins you want, if it doesn't work. Right. Hi, Diane. Good morning. All right, where was I? Oh, Year of Hats. So that was the original Year of Hats. And then Kelborn has done Year of Projects, Year of Gifts, I think. And this year, for 2026, they are doing a Year of DK hats. So this is for their DK weight Germantown. Now, I don't carry the DK weight Germantown in just regular open stock. So but I wanted to try it out. I wanted to hear what you guys thought of it. So I thought this was the perfect time. So it comes packaged in these beautiful bags that Kelborn has designed. I know, look at it, Gretchen. Isn't it crazy? It's color changing. So when the video started, it was pink, like the top of that fingernail. And now that I've warmed up, it's gonna be that crazy purpley blue. I know, it's fun. So they created these gorgeous kits, packaging for the year. So this is January's. It is called the Callisto hat. Pattern features tubular cast on, knit in the round, cable stitches, and it is charted. And it is using Germantown DK. So the pattern includes in-depth instructions, beautiful charts, links to clear, detailed photo and video tutorials, and it tells you what else you might need. So there is a picture of the January hat. That is, isn't it beautiful? I love it. And what I really love about it, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see it here, but you can look on Ravelry. I love how the designer, who is, hold on, Tommy Knits. Tommy Knits is the designer. He paid really special attention to the decreases and made the crown really beautiful. Like, he took advantage of the cable stitches that he was already using in the hat and really made the decreasing a part of the pattern rather than just like, oh, I got to decrease the hat, so we're done with the cables and that's it. Like, he really took time in making a beautiful design for the hat. So again, this is the Callisto hat. I have it in 3 color options. On the kits, you can see what color the yarn is on this little hole right here, but I'm going to open up the package so you guys can see what comes in it. The kits are $24.95. Kits are $24.95. And remember, these don't count in a yarn diet because you have everything you need for the project and it's already planned. So that doesn't count as a yarn purchase, okay? So this is the color of the original hat called Jade. So you get a full skein of Germantown DK. It is, again, as a reminder, Germantown is 100% North American wool, 100-gram bullet skein like this, 270 yards. 270 yards. Recommended gauge is 20 to 22 stitches on a 5 to a 7. And as a reminder, this is all made in the US. So the sheep live here, the shepherds live here, the processing all happens here, and the dyeing all happens right here in the US. So that is, again, this is color Jade. And then let's take a peek at what else comes in this beautiful kit. So there is a postcard that will have the pattern download instructions and a picture of the hat. So there's the picture of the hat again. There's the backside with the download instructions. The pattern is a free pattern on Ravelry. You don't actually, like, you can just get it off from there. There are stickers. I know what you guys will do for stickers. So this comes with 4 beautiful stickers. This one says, "You better swatch." That's Kelborn's logo. This one says, "Finest quality made by Kelborn Woolens," and kind of that retro, like mid-century modern look. And then this is a Year of Hats 2026. Here we have stitch markers. I have not opened up a package because they're sealed. Let's see. They look like they are like the light bulb shaped kind of safety pin style, but there's 13 in there. And this is a very fancy package. It looks like it's just craft paper, but it's actually metallic. Very fancy. And then this, it comes with a darning needle. So you've got a darning needle. So literally the only thing that you have to add here is your needles, your knitting needles. So in this cute little muslin bag, there's the cute little bag, is the hat tag, an adorable little hat tag that has the Kelborn Woolens logo on it. And then it also has yarn, or thread, I guess, no, it's yarn. It's a fingering weight yarn, to sew the tag onto the hat. So, like, all you need, everything you need to make this project, this hat, is contained in your kit, other than, again, your needles. And I guess if you want to make the pom-pom, there is not a pom-pom maker in there, but likely those are tools that you might already own. Okay, so like I said, we've got 3 color combo options. This is the original color. This is Jade. And you'll recognize these colors from Germantown. They share a color palette. So the other one we have is Honey. Oops, that's upside down. So that really kind of interesting gold yellow color. And then the last one, the third one, is Pebble. So a nice kind of matte gray color. That is called Pebble. So those 3 color options available for the Callisto hat kits. Now, you've heard me talk already this morning about Finished Object February Bingo. In the past, there have been squares for finishing a kit. Just saying. There have been squares in the past for finishing a kit. So, just putting that out there, that there might be another square on the bingo card for finishing a kit. All right, let's take a look now. Let's go ahead and let's shift gears a little bit. Let's take a look at gadgets and notions from Twice Sheared Sheep. So I have really enjoyed getting to know the women behind the company that of Twice Sheared Sheep. You guys have seen this adorable little tin here. This was an exclusive design for Small Business Saturday. This is Starry the Penguin. I didn't know this, but Dawn is the owner of Twice Sheared Sheep. She is the artist that creates all of these images that are on their tins. So I wanted to share that with you because I think that is a very important thing to know and share with people, that she is the artist. In addition to being a business mastermind and creating all of these beautiful notions and goodies for us, she's also a fine arts artist that creates these gorgeous designs. So I think that's important to know. So you've seen this before. This one is not new, but I did want to share with you that little bit of info. So this is one of their stitch marker or notions tins, and this is the penguin. We do have these in stock if you need them. And the other reason that I'm showing you this is because one of the new items that I have to show you are storage tin labels. Storage tin labels. So you can label, if you have your notions and stitch markers and things organized in your stack of tins, now you can label them on the edges here. So when these are stacked up, you have a way to know what's inside without having to remember, because who's going to remember? So we have distinguishing on the left side, small, medium, large, or extra large, and US 4, US 8, 10.5, 15. So I suppose there's a variety of things that you could use that for, but specifically I'm thinking stitch markers. So you've got small stitch markers that would fit up to a 4. You've got medium-sized markers that would fit up to an 8. So that's what I would use those particular markers for. And then we've got row counters, stitch markers, notions, and removable markers. So that's what's along the right side here, is those labels. And then she also includes a sticker set of blank ones. So if maybe you're using these tins for other things in your purse, maybe you're keeping your lipstick or whatever else, you hide your key in this, then you wouldn't want to label it. But anyway, that is, again, the storage tin labels stickers, so that you can help get your notions and everything organized, to keep it all organized. Let's see. Beth says, I love their tins. Jean says, do you have any smaller tins? We used to have one of the small dog ones, but did we sell it? I think we might have sold it. But stay tuned. Stay tuned, Jean. I have something at the end of this that I'm going to talk about, so stay tuned. Good question. So again, that's the tin label, storage label. See, I can't even remember. Storage tin label stickers. So many words. We also have, you might remember from previous orders from Twice Sheared Sheep, the quick stitch gauge, the quick gauge ruler. And it has lined up across it different, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. Let's see if I can hold this up. There you go. So you can see, it looks like little arrows or little boxes. You line this up with your swatch, and it will tell you what what stitch gauge you are achieving, is the idea with the original one. But it was not helpful for measuring row gauge. So Dawn designed these really cool gadgets. This is the quick row gauge. So now you can measure your rows. And I haven't tried it, but I do believe that one could use this for crochet swatches also. I mean, it's just a box. You can use the box for your crochet stitches. I don't know why you wouldn't. And then along the one edge is imperial ruler. So you can also use that. So again, we have both in stock right now, the quick gauge and now the new quick row gauge. And you can't see it because it's clear, but we do have it. That is in stock and ready to go. Both of them are. The next thing I wanted to share with you, this is Dawn's handy reference guide to all things yarny. I am thrilled to have this as a reference guide here. It's a nice size to be able to slip in your knitting bag or wherever your spot is at home where you sit and knit or crochet. It's really handy, as she says, handy to have with you at all times. So there's beautiful, it's a shiny, heavier like cardstock. It's not a hard back, but it's kind of a heavier, thicker fabric here, or paper. And then the interior pages are really nice, high quality too. It's nice and shiny and feels lovely. Sometimes that's really important, right? The mechanics of it. So table of contents, we've got needle and hook conversion, yarn weights, recommended needles and gauge, wraps per inch, yarny internet slang. I think that's kind of funny. Pattern abbreviations, crochet chart symbols, knit chart symbols, yarn requirement estimates, yarn care symbols, and then body measurements, average body measurements for different ages and different genders, head measurements, foot measurements, and then references and additional resources. So this has amazing info for knitters and crocheters. Here's the crochet chart symbol chart, and there's the knit chart symbols. And she's got, like, sometimes for purling, right? I'll point that one out because that's a pretty universal one that we use a lot. A lot of times a purl stitch can be represented by a dot or by a dash. So she has both options listed on there. So I think that's really, really handy also. So that is the handy reference guide to all things yarny. That is $15.95. $15.95. I forgot to do pricing for the other items. So the quick row gauge is $17.95 and the labels are $5.95. I always forget to do that. All right, 2 more cool notions. The next one is called a yarn gaiter. Now here's a funny thing with, well, notions companies, I guess in particular. Sometimes I don't know I need a thing. I didn't know I needed this until it's designed and manufactured and made and shown to me. And yes, of course I need that. Of course I do. And that is the case for the yarn gaiter. So the yarn gaiter, I'm gonna show you the colors that it comes in, and then I'm gonna open one up so you guys can see how it works. So the yarn gaiter is $20.95. And the idea here is that you can attach it to your knitting bag and you can pull your yarn through the holes. So it helps to keep things untangled, neat, and tidy. But the cool thing about the way that this has been designed, it does not stay closed. So you can open it up, that's why it's called a gaiter, right? Like an alligator mouth. It will open up and you can take your yarn out if you don't want to use the item, or you can close it and clip it and it will keep it closed, again, to keep things organized and tidy. So you're not committed. That's what I don't love about the grommets in other, knitting bags or knitting items that have these holes or grommets in it. Once I thread my yarn through a hole like that, I am committed and I have to use whatever it is that I've threaded it through. So I don't love that. But I think Dawn has come up with the perfect way to counteract that, and that is the yarn gaiter. So again, this one is the white one. There is a seafoam color, which is lovely, seafoam. But my favorite is this beautiful sparkly one. This is called Silver Glitter. This is called Silver Glitter. So I'm gonna open this one up. Let's see, Karen is sharing, it is great for 2 at a time socks. It absolutely is. Okay, so let's see here. I'm gonna take this off. Jason's probably rolling his eyes at me that I'm opening this package up.
No, I'm more concerned, does the glitter get on you?
No, it's in the plastic. See, I can rub it on and there's no glitter.
I'm not doing that.
I know. If you don't know about Jason, he hates glitter. With a passion, hates glitter. Glitter is not allowed in our house. Not even as a joke. No. Okay, so this is the fixed end. So there's a clip here on this end, and you can clip that onto a bag. You can clip that onto the outside of a bag. So that is the fixed end. This end has another clip on it, and it is a lobster claw here. Hi. And you can take the lobster claw off there. So the clip is now off this end, and this is how you can open it. So I can open it and take my yarn out, or to load it. I can load it that way, and then I can close it, and then I put that big lobster claw back through those holes, and then I can clip it back onto the other side of my bag. So this kind of clips over the opening of your project bag. So that is the yarn gaiter. All right, so that is a super cool thing that I didn't know I needed until I saw it, and of course I need it, absolutely. Let's see, Jean says, plus grommets often and with repeated use will split and grab yarn, which can shred it. Yes, absolutely great for color work projects. That's right, Sunny. And crocheters can use, of course, I keep saying knitting, that's my default, but crocheters absolutely can use it. In fact, there's a project picture that I have on the website of someone doing a mosaic crochet project and has the yarn gaiter loaded with their multiple colors that they are using for sure. So yeah, it's great for, I mean, you could even have multiple projects going through your yarn gaiter. It doesn't all have to be the same project. All right, and last but not least, I'm super thrilled and excited about this one. So Jason has all of these really cool multiple like handy tools and knives that you can flip out one side and it's a knife, and you can flip out another side and it's a bottle opener, and flip out another side and it's a pair of pliers, and a multi-tool. He gets to have tons of those very cool things. So Dawn at Twice Sheared Sheep said, I think that knitters and crocheters need to have a multi-tool like that. So she came up with the Stitch Scout multi-tool. Stitch Scout multi-tool. So this is for knitters and crocheters. This is how it comes packaged. I have one open, of course, already because I needed to check it out. So the Stitch Scout multi-tool is $45.95. It's made out of beautiful dark wood here, and the information on this top lid area is engraved, and then is it engraved? No, I don't think it's engraved. Anyway, it's like a yellow material, so you can see it very easily. So there are 9 tools in one. 9 tools in one. So I'm going to show you my open one here together, and we'll go through it. We'll see if we get the 9 tools here. So first is a needle and hook gauge. So this will open this way, and you have this is a 1-inch square. So you can hold that up against your fabric, and you can count how many stitches you've got in your inch, either stitches or rows. And then you've got along the sides here, you've got a needle and a hook gauge. So you guys can see, instead of regular like circles or holes like we normally think of for a needle gauge, this is actually open. So you can slide, crocheters, you can slide your hook in at the, the actual part of the hook that's determining the size of your stitch. You can actually slide that in, and it's going to tell you what size your hook is. So knitters and crocheters can use this needle and hook gauge, and it will tell you. It's got the US and the number and the metric size. So it's got everything covered that you could possibly need. So that's the top layer. There's a tape measure. Tape measure's on this end. You pull that guy out. There we go. And the button for it is on the bottom. So it's another one. Thank you, Sue.
You're welcome.
It's got inches on the top, centimeters on the bottom. So both metric and imperial measurements there. Let's see. Next up, the yarn cutter. This is the cool part. So this part you can flip up here. Let's get our needle gauge out of the way. This part will flip up, and these little spots here, you can see it glinting. There's yarn cutters in there, so you don't need scissors. You can just slip your yarn through these little teeth here, and it will cut your yarn for you. Then see how there, this leg right here, there's a little notch cut out. That is a wraps per inch tool. A wraps per inch tool. So that kind of tool is typically used by spinners when they're trying to determine what weight yarn they have spun. We as knitters and crocheters, as other yarn lovers, don't tend to use that as much, but it is still a very handy tool to have and understand how to use. So you can find a conversion chart. In fact, there might even be one in Dawn's handy reference guide. You wrap your yarn, not tightly, you just kind of wrap it around, and however many stitches fit in your 1-inch bit here will help guide you how big or what weight your yarn is. So again, that is the yarn cutter. and it is a wraps per inch tool. This part is just a cover for the little cavity that's in here. So within this little cavity, there is 2 independent tools. We've got a darning needle, and check this out. These are magnets, so you can put your metal darning needle right there. You can put your stitch markers, your metal stitch markers right there, so they're always handy. Your cable needles. And it comes with a 5mm, on one end it's got a crochet hook, so great for repairing things. And then on the other end it's pointed. So you can actually use this for a cable needle. So a cable needle and repair hook, both items there. So there we go. How many different tools can we fit in our palm? A lot. 9, in fact. So again, and you can fill in the cavity here with whatever stitch markers or whatever else, maybe sweater vines could fit down in there. And that's it. So you can tuck all of your tools back in. You don't have to like finagle, like find the little slit to make the knife part go down like you do with like knives, which always makes Jason nervous when he watches me try and figure out how to fold the knife back in. It's just, it all slides back into place. So no fear of cutting fingers off. On the end here, there is a little spot that if you wanted to put a like a wrist strap or some kind of strap on there, you can. It doesn't come with it, but you could attach something there too. Or you could attach locking stitch markers right there also to customize it and make it even handier. Right? I know. And it smells delicious. Added benefit. Okay, so that is Twice Sheared Sheep goodies and notions, and it is 11:52 already. How did that happen?
And if they want to see more notions we didn't show today, you have to come in the store.
Right. If you didn't hear Jason, he said if you want to see more notions, you have to come in the store. Which does circle me back. Jean, you had asked about small tins. We are actually going to be hosting a trunk show with Twice Sheared Sheep. Jason probably doesn't even know this. We are going to be hosting a trunk show during Finish Object February with many other tools and items and notions and project bags and all sorts of cool things from Twice Sheared Sheep here during Finish Object February. I will be releasing more details. I don't remember exact dates. It's the middle of the month. So I'm very excited. If you need to get more organized with your notions and your tools and things like that, we will have all sorts of tins and all sorts of cool things here during that month. So hang on a little bit longer, Jean. You can get all sorts of tins and things. All right, we're gonna go over. I just make that decision because I haven't even looked at the yarn yet.
Yeah, it's big snowflakes outside. Why not?
Yeah, big snowflakes going on outside right now, so I'm not too worried about lots of in-store customers. So we're gonna keep going. Let's talk about, I have a couple other little notion-y gadget miscellaneous things that I wanna share with you. So we're gonna talk about that, and then we'll get to the yarn. So first thing, I told you that there was a book that I was really excited about. I haven't had a chance to really sit down and read it yet, but I plan to take my copy home this weekend and give it a good read through. You guys know I actually really enjoy math. I love that there is usually a clear and concise answer. They tend to be, like, math problems tend to be black and white, and I really enjoy that. And knitting math especially, I really enjoy puzzling through things like that and figuring it out. And so I was really intrigued when I saw Kate Atherley's newest book called Math for Knitters. Now, I know there are a lot of you that hear me talk about math and you go, gross, yuck, I hated math in school. I don't even want to listen anymore to what Lindsay's talking about when she talks about math. Hold on, come back. Listen to the back of the book. It's not scary, I promise. An indispensable guide that transforms intimidating knitting calculations into simple arithmetic anyone can master. Finally understand what gauge really means and how to work with it when yours doesn't precisely match the pattern. Learn to confidently substitute yarns without running short or wasting money. Customize garments to fit your unique body by making strategic alterations. Author Kate Atherley approaches this book just like she does her sold-out classes, by breaking down complex concepts into bite-sized, approachable pieces. Keep this book in your knitting bag. So then we've got little bits here. No advanced math required, just basic arithmetic using everyday tools. So she will let you use your calculator. She's not like your high school algebra teacher who told you you might not have a calculator with you all the time, so you got to do the math in your head. Ha! Joke's on them, isn't it? Because now we do have a calculator in our hand everywhere we go.
That's right.
Although I do every once in a while challenge myself to do it in my head, but why? I have a calculator. Anyway, Gauge Demystified. Master the most crucial knitting skill with clear guidance. I love it. Yay, Gauge. Pattern customization. Learn which patterns could be modified and how to do it. So Math for Knitters is $19.95. Again, this is not a pattern book. There are no designs in here from Kate, although she does have brilliant designs. There are all sorts of amazing reference things. Specifically for knitters, my friends. I apologize that this may not necessarily convert, although some of this information would. Yarn shop math, for instance, picking out enough yarn for your pattern, calculating yardage of partial balls. In fact, we were talking, my friend Jeannie and Kathy and I were talking about when do you hang on to a leftover ball and when do you just let it go? Because how do we know what is left in that ball? Kate tells us how to figure it out because she's a genius. Gauge Math 101, what it means, how to measure and assess it, what to do about it. Pattern Reading 1, repeats within rows, repeats of rows. So she helps break down when you're reading a pattern and it tells you to do repeat X 5 times spread over 15 rows or something like that. She helps break it down and really help figure out what that means. So if you struggle with reading knitting patterns, this would be great, a great reference for you. And I really do still think, though, that crocheters could certainly use many of the skills that are in here. So check this out. Kate is a mathematician by training. Let's see. She said, "Today I am a knitting designer, teacher, and technical editor, but I didn't study these topics at school. I studied math. After graduating with a university degree in theoretical mathematics." Can you imagine? Like, I like math, but I like math I can hang on to. Like math that has a reason, and I have an answer and I do something with that answer, right? I can't even grasp theoretical mathematics. And then she worked in software and happily escaped to make a living in textile arts. And believe it or not, my dad never did. I used my university degree more in the second career than I ever did in my first. So again, that's just a little quickie intro to Kate if you are unfamiliar with Kate. So again, 1995, Math for Knitters. I think it's a great reference book. And again, I'm excited to sit down and really read through it and show it off. Let's see. Ruth Ann says, I just ordered my multi-tool. Awesome. Thank you, Ruth Ann. Sunny says, if you show many more cool gadgets and books, I will blow my entire craft budget for the quarter. Okay, well, look away then. Thank you, Jean. This actually might not count, Sunny, unless you have an interest in this. So I'm developing a personal interest in embroidery and visible mending and figuring out how to embellish plain knit surfaces or crochet surfaces. You could certainly apply this that way. And so being in the position that I am in as a local yarn store owner, I have the ability to look within some of the companies that I order from, and they have materials and tools and things for other crafts like embroidery. So I, every once in a while, get to take advantage of that and decide that I want to order these things. And if it happens that somebody else here might be interested in doing it and buying these items, cool. If not, well, I get all of these for myself. So don't feel like you need to buy any of these things, because if it happens to be that I get to keep all of it, I'm okay with that. Jason, don't listen. Okay, so this is a new company that I discovered called 822 Crafts. fun fact about 822 Crafts. It is based here in Michigan. These items shipped from Lapeer, Michigan, which I have no idea where Lapeer is. Do you know where Lapeer is? No, he does not know where Lapeer is.
I'm going to say northeast.
Northeast. We don't know where Lapeer is. Anyway, just these are literally gadgets that I wanted, and so I got them, and now I'm going to show them to you, and if you want them, fine, but don't buy all of them. First up is this cute little 4-inch beechwood embroidery hoop. These are $8.95. So I love the idea of having, you know, creating these cute little embroidered things and leaving them in these pretty hoops and hanging them on the wall. But I do have these available for other people, since I do have to make money to stay in business, blah, blah, blah.
I got it right. It's between Flint and Port Huron.
Between Flint and Port Huron, yeah.
Right.
In the Thumb, by Flint, I got, Jana used to work at Lapeer. I didn't know that about you, Jana. Oh, Sonny says I embroider too. Well, sorry, Sonny. I tried. Okay, so anyway, hoops. I have hoops. These cute little 4-inch hoops. I found this really cute needle threader, and I have something to admit. I had no idea what this gadget was in my sewing kit. Not this particular one, but a needle threader in general. They just, in the kits, they come with a metal diamond, and it has like a profile stamped on it, a random profile stamped on it, and then it has this little wire thing sticking out. I had no idea what those things were in my sewing kit until I don't even know how I figured it out. I must have seen it somewhere on social media probably. And I found out it's a needle threader, and I was like, I didn't even know that was a thing. So I started using a needle threader when I'm weaving in ends, and it makes life a lot easier. When I do play with embroidery, I use it to thread my embroidery needles. You don't have to strain your eyes to try and poke the thread through the tiny little eye. And guys, it's life-changing. Why did I never know about these things? So then I saw, when I was looking to order these cool things from 822 Crafts, she has this really beautiful needle threader that is a really pretty gold and yellow butterfly. So you stick this metal part through the eye of the needle that you're threading. You run your whatever, thread, yarn, whatever it is, through the threader, and then you pull it back through the eye of the needle, and it's threaded.
Boom, done.
Boom, done. What? I had no idea these things existed. And pretty ones at that. So I got this pretty butterfly one. I do have other ones if anybody else wants one. They're $16.95. So very pretty. Very pretty yellow butterfly. See, Karen says my grandma always used one, especially with poor eyesight. I don't even have that excuse. It's just, you know, you put the thread in your mouth to try and get spit on it to get it to, and then you get bits in your mouth. It's gross, right? You're trying to stick it through the eye and you can't see anything. So yes, if you don't have a needle threader, go look in your sewing kit or your grandma's sewing kit, or even just if you have a pocket emergency sewing kit, you might have one in there, but it's looks so odd that I just didn't have any idea to even know. Anyway, very cool thing. All right, so here's the actual things that I wanted to order from 822 Crafts, but I got distracted by these other cute things too. These are called stick and stitch embroidery designs. So I got 4 different design styles, and there are I think it says somewhere how many, 15 designs. There, excuse me. There are anywhere from 10 to 15 different designs in each package. And these are designs that are projected onto stabilizer that is sticky. So I'm gonna open up this one. This is Whimsical Friends is the collection. So these are sticky. So you're gonna slap these babies on whatever you wanna embroider, whatever you wanna embellish. You're going to peel the back off, peel this shiny part off the back of this. You're gonna stick it on whatever you wanna embroider. And then you're going to, however you want to do it. How you want to just do a simple running stitch and do the outline. You want to do some satin stitching in some of the flower parts. You want to do some French knots. You want to do, I don't know. I don't know any other stitch names for embroidery yet, but anything else that you want to do. So you finish your design and then you get this wet and it will dissolve. The stabilizer dissolves and leaves your design on your whatever you embellished. So this is the Whimsical Friends collection, and there are bigger pieces, there are smaller pieces like these cute little flowers that you could embroider. So again, you can use these on anything. Your knit fabric, your tote bag. I have some sweaters that I've thrifted that are cashmere and lovely, but they had some holes. So I have a plan to take one of these sets and use these and cover up those holes and use these all over this particular sweater that I have thrifted. I have some jeans that are starting to get thin, like around the pockets. So I thought maybe I could use these around the pockets. So again, this one is the Whimsical Friends. I don't have time. I'm not going to go through every single package, but you can find these on the website. The pictures on the website will show you what designs are included in each package. So yes, make sure you take a look. 4 different ones. Again, this one is the Whimsical Friends. That is $15.95. There's one called Bookish, because of course there is. One called Bookish. So again, there are big pieces, there are small pieces included in all of these. This one is called Flora and Fauna. Flora and Fauna. And then last but not least, this one is a little more seasonal. This one is called Love and Hearts. Love and Hearts. I like this one. If you're just getting into exploring embroidery, the Love and Hearts designs tended to be more just outlines, and it looked to me like they were going to be a little bit simpler, not as in-depth as some of the other ones. The Whimsical Friends ones looked like the most in-depth, although Bookish can be a little more in-depth too. So yeah, they're all $15.95 for the package. Again, anywhere from 10 to 15 designs. The one that had 10, I think, was the Bookish one, and that's because most of the designs in here are a little bit bigger. So again, those are called the Stick and Stitch Embroidery Designs from 822 Crafts, a fellow designer in Lapeer, Michigan. So if you're interested in that, very cool. If you're not, then I get to keep it all anyway. So I'm very excited about that. Let's see, Barbara says there are blank sheets of that and you can put them in your printer. Ooh, so we could make our own. Cool. You could add beads. Oh, Celeste, that's a great idea. You could absolutely add beads. Jean is sharing a little tip here that the sticky bit tends to build up on the needle, so you can wipe it off with alcohol or an alcohol wipe. Oh, brilliant idea. Or probably maybe nail polish remover too, depending on what you have around. All right, 12:08. All right, well, there's still 70 of you hanging out with me, so let's take a look at the yarn. Let's take a look at the yarn. So I already had talked about my sweater. This is the Evina Cardi, and I wanted to share the yarn that I used to make this. So I have several shades here that were existing colors but were sold out for quite a while. So I'm going to show those first. And then I have a basket full of new colors that just came in, and we're still waiting on some new colors to come in. But anyway, so these are colors that we have had before in stock, but we've been out of stock with them for a while. And I still can't get this color. So use your imagination and think about these different colors to create, well, you can create many beautiful things out of cotton plus merino. So first is this beautiful natural color. This is called Chalk. Cotton plus merino is organic cotton and 19 micron count merino wool. So that means that the merino wool objectively should feel very soft because the micron count is low. The construction of this yarn, it is a chainette construction. or it's a tube. It's a chainette tube, that's the cotton. And then the merino wool is blown into it. It is blown into it. So 70% organic cotton, 30% merino wool. These are 100-gram balls, 229 yards, and it is a worsted weight, a number 4 or worsted weight. Recommended knitting gauge is 16 to 20 stitches on a 7 to a 9. Suggested for my crocheters, 11 to 14 stitches to 4 inches on a I to K crochet hook. Again, this is the color chalk. Price per skein is $26.95. $26.95. So what you can't really see here, but you'll be able to see in the next color, these really knit up looking like you've held a like a strand of mohair or a halo style yarn with a smooth yarn, but it's all built in together, so you don't have to do that. You can just knit this single strand. Look at my fingernails right now, you guys. It is crazy. Why are my ring fingers so warm? It's so weird. All right, anyway, this is color number 7. This is called Mimosa. This is called Mimosa. So the cotton, the tubing, is white, and the wool that is blown in is the color, is where the color comes from. So this was natural for both. This one, the white is the cotton, left white, and then the color comes from the wool. The next few that I'm going to show you is kind of the opposite. This is a cotton plus merino shadows. In this case, the cotton or that tubing is the color, so this is red, and then the wool that gets blown in, the merino wool, is black. So that's how this color is constructed. So this is called garnet. This one is called garnet. And then we have the rest of these here are the shadows. This is peridot, which bugs me every single time that I see that because peridots are green, not teal, but okay. We'll go with it. So I love that color. This is cognac diamond. Cognac diamond. And then we've got rose quartz. And this is rose quartz. So these were not new colors, but they were colors that were back ordered for a long time, and we were finally able to get them back in stock. So what is left in my basket here are 6 brand new colors, 1 in their shadows line, and the rest are the original. So let's take a look at those. This is the shadows color. This is called Green Fire Crystal. Green Fire Crystal. So again, the cotton tubing is where the color comes from. That's green. And then the wool that is blown into that tubing is black. So that is Green Fire Crystal, number 212. 212. Thank you, Beth. All right, so now we're switching back to the original, the first cotton plus merino. And so the tubing, the cotton tubing is white, and the color comes from the wool this time. So this is called Skyline. This one is called Skyline. So it's a really subtle shades of blue. And it really looks like a cloudy, like a blue sky, a cloudless sky, but with big puffy clouds every once in a while. It's that beautiful shade of blue. I know, Jana, they're beautiful. This one is called Raven. This is called Raven. So again, the nylon, or the cotton netting is white. The wool is black. This is a beautiful color. This is Inkberry. This one is called Inkberry. So these knit up really, like the wool that's blown into here is not just a single color. There are subtle variations within each color. So there's some purple in here that's a little more blue. There's some purples in here that lean a little more pink. So it really does knit up. You can kind of see it in my sweater here, the jade color. There's a little bit of parts that are more green. There's a little bit of parts that are a little bit more blue. So that is beautiful. That is Inkberry. We have this gorgeous shade of pink. This is called Shockwave, and it is shocking. Shockwave. It's definitely more fluorescent in the camera. I mean, it is hot pink, but it is not like radiation pink, like it's showing in the camera. But it is very fun. This would make a great like hat for right now when we need a little bit of a shock of color. And then I think this is the last color. This is the last new color that I have here today. This might be my favorite new color, which is odd that I like this one out of all of them, but I do. This is number 21. This is Wisteria. This is Wisteria. So it's actually a very, very, very light shade of kind of a purpley taupey color. So it's almost neutral, which I don't usually love neutrals, but it is very interesting. It's got a lot of purpley tones to it. Anyway, it's gorgeous. It is called Wisteria. That is number 21, Wisteria. All right, so that is Cotton plus Merino, the new colors, and finally back in stock that we've been waiting for colors as well. So there we have it. Jana says, I'll need you to link your nail polish in the show notes. I can probably do that. All right, so that is everything I have for you guys today. Thank you for hanging out. I know I went well over my hour allotment, but I appreciate you guys hanging out with me and listening to all the new goodies. I think that's it. Make sure that you're checking out our class calendar. We are adding a few new classes for February. Because again, there are often bingo squares that have to do with classes. So make sure you're checking that out as well. I think that's it, guys. Make sure you take a look out, keep a lookout for show notes posts that'll be coming up later this afternoon. And again, thank you for hanging out with me if you're watching live. I appreciate it. If you're watching on replay, thank you for sticking us out and watching the replay. And if you're catching us on YouTube, awesome. I'm glad that you found us. And I look forward to hanging out with you more here as well. All right, guys, have a great weekend. We'll see you soon.